Hey guys, welcome to Maple Syrup Gaming and Tech. I'm Rick, and today we'll be looking at a budget build for early 2017. Right now, Kaby Lake just came out, and what's actually most interesting about that series is not what I find their high-end processors, it's their new CPU, the G4560. And that'll be the star of our build today because it'll be centered around that CPU and getting the max that we can out of it. So, of course, just before we start as well, I'd like a quick disclaimer. Zen is right around the corner in about a month. So, yes, we are building this list off of parts that are available today, but in all honesty, I would wait 2 to 3 weeks because that's probably when we'll be getting the final information on Zen before making any purchases right now. But if you need to game and you can't wait those 2 to 3 weeks, well, I have the perfect budget list for you for right now. So what's the point of the system? It's going to run all AAA games at high or almost the highest settings available, and we want to aim at having between 40 to 60 FPS, no problem on these games. It's not a system that it's going to be overclocked at all, so all these are going to be available at stock settings. So without further ado, let's start going with the list. Well, the first one we already talked about it, the Intel G4560. It's a dual-core, 4-thread CPU, and honestly, I find it's the star of the lineup that Intel came out because it really gives a decent option for a budget gamer. It's available right now for $89.99 at NCIX, and I would grab the CPU basically as soon as possible because it was sold out on Newegg when I tried to check for it. Paired with this CPU, I went with the graphics card, the Zotac 1050 Ti, which is the mini edition, which is available right now for $189.99 with a $10 mail-in rebate, bringing the price down to $179.99. Now, there will be a link to a video down below, but basically another site already proved that when you have this CPU combined with this GPU, you're actually maxing out what the GPU can give you. What that means that even if you upgrade to an i3 or an i5, you might not even get any extra frames per second on most games because the GPU is already pushed to its maximum with a 40 with the G4560, which means that it's the perfect pair up for this system. Next, if we go look at the motherboard, we're going as basic as we can. So I have the AsRock H110M DGS. It's available for $69.99 right now on Newegg with a $25 mail-in rebate, bringing the price down to a whopping $44.99. This is a can't miss deal because basically it's a motherboard that will get you up and running. No, you can't do any overclocking on it, but you won't need it with this system. And since we're looking at a budget gaming system, you don't care about all the bells and whistles that come with the higher end boards. So it'll get you running and you have everything you need on it here. Now, the next deal that we're going to look at is the PSU, the power unit. Basically, it's the Corsair CX 450, which is a semi-modular power source, and right now it's available for $39.98. It's basically $59.98, but with a $20 mail-in rebate. This is an absolute steal because it's a semi-modular power unit made by a very good company, which is Corsair, and it'll be probably good if even one day you decide to move on to an i5 with a single GPU. 450 watts, as long as you're not overclocking, will be more than enough. Lastly, we'll be looking, for performance sake, we'll be looking at RAM. I chose the Gskill Aegis 8GB DDR4 kit. This is available from Newegg for $59.99, and you just can't go wrong with this type of RAM. And anyway, RAM is RAM, and there is not a big difference even investing. Unless you want to go for looks, you can go for a more expensive kit, but if not, this will get the job done. And for storage, we're going to take a Seagate ST1000, which is a 1TB drive, and this is the only place where I put a little bit of extra money to actually go get that 1TB. You can probably get for $45 a 500GB drive, but trust me, for a gaming PC, in my opinion, 1TB is the bare minimum because unless you want to, install and uninstall your games frequently, you're going to want to go with the 1TB. You won't regret the $15 investment for this. So it's available for $64.99, once again from newegg.ca. And lastly, we have for the case, obviously, I took the Rosewill FBM01, which is $29.99. It's a micro ATX case, comes with 2 fans, so you don't need anything extra. Anyway, since we're not overclocking the system, heat is probably not going to be an issue, but at least you've got 2 fans built in to have the basics. So with this, you've got a pretty functional system, and the grand total after all the rebates is $509.93. You can't really get much better than that for a gaming system in Canada right now. By the way, I run down all the price list, like I said, for the US customers, and if you choose exactly these parts, all from newegg.com, you actually come out at only $420.94. That's a steal, but that's what happens in Canada. We pay a little extra. And by the way, if you guys want to know how you can actually save a lot on the taxes as well, I'll have a video link down below, which is one of my videos, where I explain to you exactly how you can save 2/3 of the tax we normally pay here in Canada on our products when buying online. So I recommend everyone go look at that video before making your purchases, because there's actually ways to get around sometimes most of the provincial taxes when we're buying. And before I let you go, this is something I want to normally do in all my videos. Yes, we're looking at a budget build today, but if ever you're looking at the prices I'm giving and you're like, hey, I can squeeze an extra $100 into my budget, what I would do is I would strongly substitute the Zotac 1050 Ti for an RX 470, which will cost you maybe $40 extra for the 4GB base models. It'll make sure that you're more towards the 60 FPS on all games instead of sometimes being in the mid 40s. And the second change I would do is I would invest in an SSD. So you can always, if you hunt around, you find about a 120 gigabyte SSD for around $60. And honestly, it'll make your system start up a lot quicker. You put just your main programs on there, so your operating system and any editing software or anything like that you would have, and you put your games in the storage in the 1 terabyte drive. You won't regret it. It'll speed up the system a lot. But those are extras. So the system at $509.93 will run perfectly, will game perfectly, but if you have the extra money, those are 2 little extra things you could look into. So I hope you like the build, and I hope you guys will come back for future videos. I'm having an actual build in about a week or 2 where we'll actually be putting together a system with real parts. And as the channel progresses, who knows, in a couple of months, I might actually be building these computers instead of just looking at the performances that they will be giving theoretically. So once again, I hope you like the build. And by the way, these are deals available today. If ever any of these deals, by the time you get around to the video, are no longer available, just comment down below and I'll substitute the part for something that I find online that'll pay probably the same price with relatively the same performance. So you can always find a substitute. Don't worry about that, guys. So thanks for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you liked, a thumbs down if you didn't, and if you didn't, let me know what I can do better for next time. Thank you for watching Maple Syrup Gaming. I'm Rick. Have a nice day.